There goes sits. Hey, yeah, that was really good. No, Bruce, Bruce sits. Yeah, you're good, Bruce. Bruce Lee. You're very disciplined, just like your namesake. And Lada, you're always good. Lucy, don't ignore me. Lucy, Lucy, look at me. Look me in the eyes, Lucy. Lucy, sits, sits. Lucy sits, sits. Lucy sits. Yeah, Anarchus and Jerry. Okay, vamos. Yeah, muy bien. So beautiful here in Acapulco. Like every day is pretty much perfect. It's like paradise. Glad that the CIA likes to say that this place is super dangerous, so no one comes here. Well, actually, tons of people come here, but Americans don't come here because they really focus that fear on the U.S. people. This place is packed with Mexicans every weekend. But Americans don't come here, so the price of property and stuff is super cheap. Except for the really high-end, the billion-dollar properties, those are still expensive because all the billionaires, the Mexican billionaires, all live here. And a lot of people, just basically Americans don't, which is actually kind of good. Nothing against every single American, obviously. I don't like to collect the vibes, but in general, it's just not a bad thing not to have a ton of Americans here. Mostly because they've been brainwashed so much, unfortunately, and the subject of massive propaganda, and they've been just so damaged. They've been poisoned in every way possible. They don't even know it, and they think they live in this great places. But anyway, what can you do? What can you do? So, if you have a business and you got lots of clients, subscribers, you could say, for the Dollar Vigilante across the world, all might have somewhat different beliefs on lots of different things. One of the sort of general things you don't do is talk about things that really can trigger people, because they might just go, screw it, this guy doesn't believe what I believe about that, so I'm unsubscribing or whatever. Luckily, I don't care. And one of the topics that people definitely avoid is the topic of what two things are you not supposed to talk about, right? Religion and what's the other one? There's two, isn't there? I don't know, because I don't care about what the cult says, so I don't listen to them anyway. I'm not talking so much about religion, although I will talk about religion for sure, because it's totally different than spirituality, in my opinion. Religion, well, let's just get right to it. Religion, for the most part, is almost all really bad. It's man-made spirituality, basically, and just like anything, when these things get created and they get some power because people start believing in them, see how your beliefs or your mind can create reality. That's what happens. So when enough people believe in something, it almost makes it happen. It doesn't make the religion happen like what the religion's talking about happen. So for example, if 1 billion people believe in Islam, doesn't make Islam the correct thing, and that's exactly how it is. But it creates a lot of related stuff. Anyway, so one of the things that this really triggers a lot of people. And I would say if you get triggered by this sort of conversation because you think, can't believe he's even thinking about there might be another option than what I believe, if you think that, you're really, in my opinion, brainwashed. Because if you can't even handle other people thinking something else because you're so sure of something that's impossible to prove, then you're pretty much that's your brainwashing. And So if this is already triggering you, if you're already angry, he didn't say Jesus is the only way yet. Oh, he's the devil. Why do you think that? Because that's what they tell you to think. What a surprise. You know, I have a lot of Christian friends and have no problem with them. And it might be right. Anything could be right, I don't know. And that's the only real stance that almost anyone should have on spirituality, really, is I don't know. You don't know for sure, that's for sure. Unless, I guess, you've had some sort of out-of-body experience that you thought was real. But even this reality isn't real, so what is real? This gets really complicated. But people take it way too seriously, in my opinion. And that's been the cause of what? Billions of people dying over the centuries because they're so sure that their book, this one's the right one, that one isn't. And you just got to look at the infighting of each religion itself. Islam, you got the Sharia versus what's the other ones? I don't really care, but you know, and they actually fight. They're like, and it's like a small little difference. It's like that word meant this, therefore, what's his name? Muhammad said, you know, I'm going to kill you because that's what Muhammad would do, right? And you know, Christianity, Catholicism, they've got so many, right? Like literally thousands that are all related, right? Protestant and if you're any of these things, I don't have a huge problem. If that's what you believe, great. I would suggest you look into stuff more. Just look into it. But if that's really what you believe, and well, that's the thing, if you've really looked into it, because most people haven't, that's where I have a real issue with religion. Holy cats. These birds here, they sound like, they're so loud. They're like giant chickens. You can see their whole tree shaking. There it was. Anyway, they look like giant chickens, but they can fly. And they're really irritating sounding. Anyway, so I'm already imagining how many comments this video is going to have and how many people are going to unsubscribe and hate me, and just for saying, let's think about this. Let's just think about it. Yeah, I've got some I've got some great Christian friends, and I actually, in general, really like real Christians, not the ones that go to the church every weekend, say they're Christian, but real ones, like the ones who really have looked into it, which is sort of my point earlier. In general, really great people. And I've also met some really great Muslims. I've also met some really great agnostic people, some really great atheist people. But a lot of people say, well, because if you're one of them, you know, if you're like Christian, for example, and you would say, oh, no, they can't be good people if they're not Christian. Okay, well, let's talk about this. All right, so we don't know why we're here. Right? That's pretty much for sure. I think that's pretty much agreed on. Like, you know, when we come out of the womb into this plane of existence, a physical 3D existence, for whatever reason, we don't know what happened before. And so a lot of very atheist people say, well, nothing happened before. Actually, I think atheism's one of the most craziest. But it could be true. You know, but it's, when you really think about it, atheism is really like, almost like it's crazier than any of them. Because it's like, well, there's no reason for any of this. Like, how shut off does your mind have to be? And a lot of them think they're really rational too. It's really weird. They're like, well, science what? Science knows nothing. Science doesn't even know. Science can't even prove gravity, if that's even real. And that's a whole other topic. I don't even know if I should get into that on this. Definitely science never even talks about consciousness, does it? That's because there's much more than just what we can see, right? Much more. So the atheist people are like, well, no, all accident. There's no one created any of this. As amazing as it is, like when you think about just the earth, how it all works, like think about it. Like if you try to create anything, I don't care what it is, say a car. So let's say you're Henry Ford, you're trying to create a car. Try to make it last for like 1 billion years and run itself and be perfect in every way. That's what the earth is. Like it doesn't need us humans at all to just be, quite perfect in its own way. Like look at it. Look how beautiful it is. Like look at it. Like what is most art? It's just like pictures of nature, which is creation of whatever. But it's amazing. And when you look at all the Fibonacci numbers, like it's all programmed, and it's an amazing design, like amazing, like someone really smart, or something, or who knows? I don't know. That's the point, is you don't know. But the atheist angle really is like and it's the saddest one, because I've met some atheists. And it's so rational, which I think that's the right brain, right? And what you don't want to do is get too right or too left. You want to be, and that's what meditation, all that stuff is, right? Like really grounding, centering yourself. But a lot of those people have gone way, like they're all the way one side. So like, they can't even think about creativity or beauty or anything like that. They just think about numbers. And this is all like equations, and if I can't see it, if I can't write it down, if I can't take a picture of it, then it doesn't exist. And to me, it's just like that's just the saddest religion. And it is a religion. Atheism is a religion. Of course, one of the worst religions in the world is statism, but that's a whole other thing, and most people know my viewpoints on that already. But it's so nice. The dogs are so chill today. Another chill day. Beautiful day today. I'm up a little early today. Well, earlier than I normally have been. Maybe I forgot how nice and peaceful it is a little earlier. Although it's not that early. It's like 10. But I've been doing these walks around 11 or 12 lately. Anyway, so atheism sort of like, and some atheists could be watching this right now hating me, and like, I can never listen to Berwick again. It's like, why? Because he doesn't know that atheism is, of course, the only way that is possible. It's like, what? Dude. Listen to yourself. Crazy. You're insane. Of course there's possibilities. What actually is real, who knows? Actually, I might get to that point at some point, talking about like maybe nothing's really all that real. But let's get into the religion stuff still. So Christianity and stuff like that. And that's the one I've been the most exposed to by far. And whenever I have major problems, a lot of people will say, just give your life to Jesus. And, I've actually done it. I never told anyone really, but during the depths of my depression and suicidal tendencies, I guess, a couple years ago, I was just looking for any answer. And that's where a lot of people kind of do search in religion and stuff, right? And a lot of people said, the problem is you haven't given your life to Jesus. It's like, giving my life to Jesus? Okay, well, let's do it. If a lot of people tell me this, maybe there's something to it. So I did. I don't even know what that means, though. And it's all weird. And it really doesn't make much sense. And that's what I want to talk about, the rationality of it all. So from the Christian angle, again, don't get me wrong, Christians can be totally right, but here's my criticisms or critiques. Okay, so we don't know why we're here. We know the world's kind of a lot of problems in this world. Seems to be a lot of people controlling a lot of other people, and a lot of poverty, a lot of war. A lot of that can be explained by statism, but we don't know what's going on, right? So we just got here. Where are we sent? Mostly to government indoctrination camps to learn about what's been going on. Oh yeah, that's who you want to get your info from. And then a lot of Christians will have their own schools or whatever, but they're basically just indoctrinating, rightly or wrongly, I don't know, their own kids into their own beliefs, which I think is kind of not the coolest thing to do. I think indoctrinating your kids with your beliefs, because kids, they actually pretty much know what's going on from the get-go. I think we should be listening to them. They know. They still remember. Talk to almost any kid. 3, 4, 5, 6. They'll tell you, what are you so worried about? You'll be like, I don't know, I have my job. It's like, everything's going to be fine. And then you're like, how do you know? And like, of course. It's like, they just know. They remember. Now, I've got all kinds of theories about what's actually going on. And some of them are the nefarious type. But let's leave that for a bit. Let's continue on with this. Just to talk about Christianity, Catholicism. Well, Roman Catholic Church, if you really look into it, it's one of the most satanic things. And a lot of true Christians know this. That's what I was saying, like the Christians I know, they know all this stuff about how evil a lot of that stuff is. So that's good. But, okay, so we got here. We're told, okay, this place is a bit of a mess. It's good, it's beautiful in many ways, but it's also a bit of a mess. There's a lot of problems here. There's just one thing you got to read. There's just one book, and it just tells you. And it came straight from God. Really? How do you know that? Well, they said it did. Who did? Who said it? Like, I know a lot of people. I don't listen to a lot of stuff they say. Most people are morons. So some guy a few thousand years ago said, well, this came from God. Because I had a dream. Oh, really? I have lots of dreams. And lots of people have lots of experiences where they meditate or take ayahuasca or whatever, and have all kinds of experiences where they go and talk to these other entities. I haven't personally. I don't know what it is about with me. Very blocked off to that for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't seem to be able to have any sort of contact with any sort of supernatural entities, which a lot of atheists would go, that's because none of them exist. Maybe. But my sense is that there's a reason for this. I could be wrong. Man, I got another spider web on me today. Yeah, so we show up and they're like, yeah, so there's just one way to save you. Save me, I just got here. Like, you're just a little kid. And they're like, you gotta be saved. Saved from what? From burning forever. Holy shit, I just got here and you already tell me I'm gonna be burning forever? Why? Because you sinned. Well, maybe not kids, but you will sin as soon as you're not a kid anymore. Really? What is sinning? Sort of like your natural tendencies. Sexuality, for example. That's a sin. Although a lot of Christians will say that's all bullshit. There's like I know some Christians that I just love talking to. And they will agree with me on everything I've said so far. And they'll tell me even way more. So I'm really interested. I want to learn more about what they think. But they're still very convinced that it just comes down to Jesus. It's okay. Okay, so let's get into this more. So just got here. We're all screwed up. Like, what? We just got here and we all screwed up? We're all bad? That's weird. So it doesn't seem bad. I know most kids, pretty much every kid I've ever met, like I said, that age range, under 10 at least, they seem like perfect little people. Doesn't seem like they screwed up at all. And they go through puberty, might have some sexual thoughts. That's not really anything they can control too much. That's pretty intense what happens, and must happen for a reason. Most obvious reason is reproduction, and then a lot of the evolutionists, which is another crazy belief, but possible, we're just we're set up that way just to reproduce. So we're self-running programs. Okay, but let's get back to this. So we're bad, and now there's one book and one guy. And he just turns out to be kind of like white-looking guy, not like a Chinese girl or anything. You know, just saying that's kind of always been odd to me. Now it turns out, like they say, he's from the Middle East, so he is actually Arabic or something. Jesus, I don't know, but. Okay, so there's one guy and one book. And well, actually, there's more than one book. Actually, the Bible has dozens of books. Most people don't know about a lot of them. A lot of them talk about giants. A lot of talk about Nephilim and essentially almost like aliens. Most people don't know about that. That stuff's interesting. I find that stuff very interesting. I think there's something to some of that, actually. That's why, when it comes to the Bible, I don't throw the entire thing out. I think there's some stuff in there. That's some good information for sure. But, yeah, like I said, there's all kinds of books. And then there's, of course, the Old Testament and the New Testament. In the old one, God was a freaking asshole. Like, evil asshole. Like, he's like, if you do anything, like, it's like, what? God? Really? So you created us, and you're like, if you do anything to piss me off, I'm going to burn you. I'll kill your kids. Like, the guy was just like... alcoholic, out of control, has major anger issues. Then all of a sudden, there's a New Testament. And now he's really nice. And he loves you. He even gave his one son to you. Okay. Why is he doing all this? And what happened? What happened to the old God? Like, did, you know? No, I haven't heard any explanation about that. There probably is. I'm sure there's people make up explanations for everything. I haven't heard what the explanation is why God all of a sudden really turned his life around there. And then Jesus, you just gave yourself to Jesus, and God. It doesn't matter what you do. And there's some things I think that are really nefarious about Christianity, or at least the religion part. What people say about it, you know, the people on TV, those preachers and stuff. There's a lot of, you know, almost all those guys are super evil. You just see it. They're making their billions of dollars just selling people God. But, I forgot what I was about to say about, you know, I just forgot my point on that, but yeah, so you got all these books. Oh yeah, so you're supposed to give yourself to Jesus. And you don't have to do anything anymore, apparently. This is a whole sort of Jesus thing. In the old days, you had to really, I don't know, do something like hate yourself every minute of every day for some reason. But now you don't have to, because one guy came and died for you, just like every other person in history has died. He also died, but it was for you. It's possible, totally possible. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's a weird story when you think about it. And so all you got to do is give yourself to him. Really, just give yourself to him. Why? Like, why would God create this place, right? And make it so everyone's born kind of evil, and they kind of owe him money, apparently, at the church. Now, I know, like, the church, that's a whole other aspect. That's why I say that, like, man-made religion is really bad. The actual belief in this stuff is much better. I just have questions even about that. But, yeah, so he creates this place, and he makes us all bad. And it makes it so, there's a lot of problems here, and a lot of people really do suffer a lot. But we eventually have to find his book, and find out about his son and then give ourselves to him, and then everything's going to be fine. It just doesn't ring true to me. And one part of it that I think is kind of nefarious is they really say, like, you don't have to do anything, just give yourself up. Like, you don't have to change this world or anything. I think that's on purpose. I think they're doing that because we can actually change this place. Now, I don't know what this place is. I don't know why we're here or anything. But we actually have the power to really make changes as individuals. And collectively, as much as I hate to use that word as an anarchist, when enough people really are on the same wavelength or energy, we can make massive changes. But I don't think they want you to know that. And they want you in a constant state of fear and feeling helpless. And like you shouldn't try to change anything. So if you're still listening to this and you're a Christian and you're like, yeah, you're totally right on all that, then you're more my kind of Christian. Because I've met some of these and they're like, yeah, you're totally right. They've lied about it. Half the stuff in the Bible's been changed. Like, there's a part in the Bible that says government is good and you should pay your taxes. Now, a lot of the Christians I know will go, no, that was added by some statist royal asshole. Okay, what else was added? Whole long topic. But in general, if there is this God, and as I said, atheism to me is the craziest thing to be. I'm definitely not an atheist. Like, look how beautiful that is. Look at this tree. Look at that, with the sun shining through. Look at that. And no one needs to water it. It grew all on its own. Oh, what happened? I killed my... Hang on. I'm sideways. Let's see if we can fix this. Come on, here we go. Good DJI Osmo. Like, all this stuff, it all runs itself. It's amazing. Like, something obviously created this. Maybe not, but man, you'd have to come up with some pretty crazy theories to say that none of this was in any way planned. It just happened. It was one of trillions and trillions of planets. That's a whole other thing. NASA, I don't believe a thing they say. Neither should anyone if you look into it. So we've been lied to about everything. So then the question, though, and we're kind of, I don't want to make this video too long. Maybe I'll take up this question on the next video. The next question is why? Why is all this stuff happening? Because I think once you start to ask yourself why, I think you get closer to the truth. And that's what I've been doing for the last few years. It's like, what is going on here? And of course, a part of it, and I've talked about this in my videos a lot, is kind of just realizing to relax with it. That's where the meditation comes in. You know, getting rid of the fear. That's a very good feeling. Like, I really don't have any fear. Like, I guess if a lion came out of the woods for a few seconds, I'd be like, holy crap. And if he jumped on me and was eating my leg, and there's not much I could do about it, I probably wouldn't be in the best of moods. I don't know if fear would be the word. I think I've pretty much just... And that really enables you to think, at least, about what's actually going on. And that's a topic for a whole other video. In fact, this video and any other videos could go on for hours or days, really. It's a big topic. But yeah, just sort of finish off with sort of like the mainstream religion stuff. Yeah, you're born, God, you're bad, you owe them money at the church. Yeah, this doesn't... I guess at the heart of things, I question everything. Jitty! And I question all of that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, what has actually happened, that's, like I said, that's the topic for the next video maybe, is what I actually think could possibly be going on here. And it gets pretty wild. And like I said at the start, this video might piss off a lot of people. It really shouldn't if you really believe 100% in what you believe. You shouldn't, no video of someone questioning it should ever make you upset. If it does, then you've been brainwashed. Because if you truly you've looked into it, your heart, your soul, you believe. There's nothing that could make you not believe it, because you know. There's knowing and there's like kind of believing, right? Like there's that feeling of knowing. If you know that, then there's nothing that I can say that should be able to make you mad in any way. If it does, like I said, then you need to think about things. Because that's a sign of brainwashing. Now, a lot of people come out and, see, they put in all these tricks. So like a lot of Christians will say, see, he's evil because he's trying to take you away from Jesus. I know some Christians who told me that if anyone ever doesn't say the Bible and Jesus are the only way, the truth, the light, whatever, they are evil. They're like pretty much sent from Satan. And we can get into, is there Satan? Yeah, I think there is something like that, yeah. See, I haven't even scratched the surface of what I think's going on. It's really interesting. It's fascinating. There's definitely something going on. And that's why a lot of people think a lot about this stuff, because I think they know too, there's something going on. But what is it? So I think I'll leave that as a topic for another day. I think I pissed off enough people already. But like I said, if I pissed you off, if you think I'm evil now for questioning this stuff, that's your belief, and you're free to believe that. And maybe I am evil, right? I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I've been sent for Satan. I don't know. I certainly, honestly, like, I could be lying, obviously. But honestly, I don't believe I have been. I've never spoke with this person that I know of named Satan. And I haven't been given any instructions on trying to screw people out of their eternity. But again, I could be lying. So that's really sort of like the end sort of thing of this video is don't trust anybody or anything, really. And that's kind of a sad thing in a way that we have to do that. But really, do your own research. Go with your own heart. So that's the kind of the good part of it, right? Like the fact that we can't trust anything is in a way sad. It's kind of like, well, that's sad that we have to live in this sort of thing. Well, but I don't know why we're in this. But the good thing is, you can totally just follow your heart and work on yourself. And that's what a lot of these videos have been about. And that's what I've been doing. To get to the point where you can really get to a higher level of understanding and knowledge, which you can't really get from other people or from books. It has to come sort of direct. And that's a whole other topic. And so maybe I'll do a whole bunch of, well, tell me if you like these. If you don't like these, if everyone goes, hey, stick to the other stuff, these, I might, I'll just continue with it. Because it kind of helps me too to talk some of this stuff out, because I'm like, you know, trying to work this stuff out too. Like I don't, like if you ask me, does Jeff Berwick know what's going on? Is he smarter than everyone else? No, I have no clue. I have a lot of questions, and a lot of questions lead to a lot of inferences that what we've been told might not be exactly the truth. So what's going on? Didn't you dogs know that you were born bad, and you got to do stuff to save yourself, and you owe some people some money and stuff? No, you haven't heard that? You just like going for walks? You just sort of just breathe and enjoy sort of the experience while you're here. You don't worry too much. That's a pretty good idea. I think that's a pretty good idea, Lucy. I think you got it right, Lucy. I think that's what we should do, is just relax a little bit. We don't know. We don't know what's going on, do we? We enjoy our walks. That's what we enjoy. We like walking. Yeah, muy bien. Muy bien, Letta. Muy bien, Bruce. Muy bien, Lucy.